Hi, friends. Okay, how's everybody going today? I hope you had a wonderful day. So, where do I begin with this one? Okay, so everyone is going to reach a point in their lives, or I would hope that would be the case, because I can't speak for everyone. I can speak for myself, though. So let me use the analogy of how I kind of see things these days. It seems to me, it feels to me that everyone is, when they're facing their own lives, imagine yourself as someone that's like at the bottom of this gigantic peak or mountain. Then when you look at it, it looks like intimidating, to say the least. So the reaction that most people will have when they look at something like that is that they won't they won't even try. They're gonna look at that mountain and they're gonna be like, there's no way I'm gonna climb that. They're gonna find all kinds of excuses before even trying, because the whole sight of this whole thing is just gonna be so scary, so intimidating, that majority of people that see it, they will turn around and be like, heck no, I'm not doing that. And this is the clearest analogy that I can make of how most people live their own lives and face their own thing. And the reason why that happens is because we created this, you know, self construct of ideas and preconceptions of how we perceive things, how we see things. I know I've been touching on this subject a lot lately, but the reason why is because it really has to be spoken over and over again. Because for some people, for some reason, they just don't get it. That the whole reason why you never get anywhere or you never achieve anything that perhaps you may have set out to do at some point in your life, but then you just gave up right away, or something happened that made you tell yourself, I can't do this, type of stuff. And this is the thing that you know we all do, because as you see in the title of the video, you know, where it says stop clinging and start climbing. And this is why I used the analogy of the mountain, the peak that's intimidating. Because the way that we were raised to see ourselves as incapable, as small, as not being able, to achieve things. And this is something that goes like way back to your very early childhood. Because you see, the thing is, what happens is, depending on your parents, obviously, and that's gonna be a major thing, right? But it's not just the parents, it's the whole thing, the whole everything around you, externally speaking, the entire environment that you're raised on, brought up on. That includes school, friends, everything, everything. Someone should really make some sort of research and really dedicate, serious time and money into something like this. And what I'm saying is, imagine if you had a group of children, and it doesn't matter how many. It could be a small group of children, it could be a big group of children. As long as they are being told the right things and being encouraged to do whatever it is that they want to do. Because I've said this before, when we're children, we kind of have a pretty good idea of what it is that we would want to be doing with our lives when we grow up. Before we get brainwashed and told to be, this version of ourselves that has nothing to do with us. I call it the construct, the mind construct that, we build it ourselves based upon all the stuff that is fed to us on a psychic level, right? It's a mind construct. That's all it is. Ego, shadow self, it doesn't matter what you want to call it. So what happens is, if somebody would get a group of children, and all that it would be done to these children is they be encouraged to do whatever it is that they want to do, and they be told that they can do anything that they would like to do. And imagine them being told this throughout the span of, like, let's say 10 years, 12 years, however amount of time we spend when we go to school all the way up to college. Can you imagine the beauty of the result of such an experiment? Because I can assure you that these children would be the biggest winners you've ever seen. Because they would have been allowed to have the freedom to not only fully invest in themselves and what they believe that they can do, but to be encouraged all the way until they're grown ups to do the things that they want to do. And obviously, there would have to be some sort of, like, I don't know, counseling of some sort to, well, imagine taking the parents out of the picture. I know it's a cruel thing to say, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is, this is just a hypothetical scenario for you to understand the power of, when someone is told something, especially when they are really, really young, when they're being encouraged the right way, with no malice whatsoever, with no ill intent, like the way the world is today. The results, they would be astounding, in my opinion. These children would be like prodigies of whatever field they choose to be in, because it would be beautiful. It's hard to explain something like this, because it's kind of like, when we're adults, we become adults. Yeah, we can do these things as well, but the amount of effort and work that you need to put into yourself, in terms of inner work, so to speak, it's not going to be an easy thing for a lot of people. Not everyone. Well, I don't want to say this because, it's a way to have the self-defeat mentality, and that's not how anyone should think about themselves. But the way things work today for most people, right? This is, I'm generally speaking here. I'm not talking about everyone, obviously. And if you're watching this, you're probably one of the good ones, one of the ones who figured it out and is still, trying to do the best you can do from your perspective to improve yourself and get where you want to get, right? So we got to do a lot of stuff. We got to do a lot of healing. We got to, go back to childhood trauma, all these things, because everyone is going to have baggage as long as they have been, raised and grown up in a city environment where, there was an education system, a political system, a religious system, all of these things that comprise societal values and ideas and beliefs. Because you're just a construct. That's all you are. And the reason why, I said stop clinging and start climbing is because this is how you should face life. You have to understand that there is this version of you, especially once you've healed and you've done a lot of things within yourself. You see so many results. You see so many beautiful things. You see synchronicities all the time, day in, day out, multiple times throughout the day. Like, what other type of confirmation do you need to see to know that you're doing the right thing and you should stop doubting yourself? You should stop being afraid of making the thing, making the move, making the leap, making whatever it is that you gotta make, acting upon it. So all of these things that, are just waiting for you on the other side of that door that you refuse to open can actually come to your life and come to fruition. This is what you need to understand. When you go through all of these things, there's going to be this side of you that still has one foot in the past of that old version of yourself, right? And at this point, that older version of you is so desperate for survival that they're going to try to do everything they can to make you change your mind. That's the easiest way I can explain this. And depending on how, whatever stage of your healing and self-work you're going through, you may be doing fine. But there will be moments where you will see that stuff trying to creep back in on the back of your mind very subtly. And if you're not self-aware enough, if you're not living in the moment, being present at all times, being aware that, most of these thoughts that come up, if not all of them, they're not who you are. You're gonna fall for it. It's a trap, my friends. Don't let that trap keep you stuck and stagnant. Period. Forget about it. You can even tell whatever voice is telling you this in your head, yeah, I appreciate your input, but I'm still gonna do what needs to be done anyway. And just keep going. Because this is how you're gonna climb that mountain, that peak that seems so intimidating and so scary. It's the only way you're gonna do it. Because as long as you're allowed the creeper to keep creeping back in and holding you from making that move that you gotta make, that has to be made, period, you're not going to get where you want to get. And that's it. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else to it. This is really all I wanted to say. Because I've talked about this ad nauseum at this point. So if you're at that, whatever some people may call a crossroads moment in your life, and you're seeing all these things, you see that you are supported, because otherwise you wouldn't be having these synchronicities. These things wouldn't be happening to you all the time, all around you, basically telling you, go for it. We got you. We got your back. The universe got your back. The spirit guides, guardian angels, higher self, God, whatever you want to call it, source, they've got your back. You've earned it. Why are you still doubting? What are you afraid of? Because in order for that new version of you to be truly, fully born, this is what, people talk about in the esoteric fields and the ancient knowledge, schools of wisdom. For that phoenix to rise from the ashes, there has to be that first. Complete cutting the cord, full detachment. And this video is getting way longer than it should have been. So that's it, my friends. That's it. That's all you have to do. Don't cling. Just climb. Don't look down. Look up and keep climbing. And that is all I wanted to say. I love you all. Yeah. And I will catch you on the next one, whenever that happens. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Take care, everybody.